Now this care package pretty much breaks down every piece that Diode Dynamics and Form Lighting sell for the S650 Mustangs, even their all-new taillights that they just came out with here today for the 2024 and up Mustang. What's going on, Team Lethal fans? It's Joe here with Lethal Performance. Today, we've got a huge care package here from our friends over at Form Lighting and Diode Dynamics for the S650 Mustang. Now, this care package pretty much breaks down every piece that Diode Dynamics and Form Lighting sell for the S650 Mustangs, even their all-new taillights that they just came out with here today for the 2024 and up Mustangs. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and break down each one of the pieces that they've sent us out here to install on one of our 2024 cars. As I'm sure most of you are super excited for, let's go ahead and start things off with their taillights here. So first thing we have out here on the table is their highly anticipated LED taillights for the 24 and up Mustangs. Now, these here are available in 3 different styles, whether you want the red tint, the clear tint, or what we have here, which is that smoked clear, which obviously to us is going to look way better than what's on the car currently with those stock red tints. Now, regardless of the lens finish, they still give you the option to choose either an amber or a red turn signal, regardless of whatever kit you get, and that's all customizable once you get it installed on the vehicle. Now, Form Lighting has designed these taillights to be a direct replacement for the stock taillights. That means all you have to do is remove your stock taillights, and using the plug-and-play harness that comes pre-installed on the Form taillights, just install them, plug it in, and you'll be all good to go. No modifications, no programming needed, and your taillights are going to work just perfectly. Now, like I said previously, these taillights will fit all 2024 to 2025 Ford Mustangs, including the EcoBoost, GT, and Dark Horse trim. These taillights and the rest of the Form Lighting products that you're going to see here today are DOT and SAE approved for on-road legal use in United States and Canada. Now, apart from their better styling and of course improved light output, these taillights also feature a custom startup sequence that is unique to any taillight on the market currently for the S650 Mustang. Now, to add in perfectly with Form's taillights here, we're going to be adding on their LED reverse lamp. Just like Form's taillights, this is designed to be a direct replacement for the OEM light that's located in the bottom of the diffuser there. Now, this piece here is going to have a few extra features compared to your OEM replacement, so that is why we're going to be installing it on the car. For starters, it comes in a smoked finish for a stealthy appearance on the car. Now, with the addition of this lamp here, you're going to notice an increase in your reverse light output comparatively to the OEM unit. On top of all of that, you're going to have the addition of a 4th brake light and a 4th running light with customizable options to have a flashing brake light when the brake is applied. The kit comes with everything you're going to need to install on the car, which includes all of the harnesses to hook it up to the rear tail lights in order to get that 4th brake light function. Now, to help complement the addition of this light, we're going to be also throwing on their rear LED reflectors. Now, if you guys aren't already aware, the current reflectors that are installed on your car don't have any wiring going to them whatsoever. There's no lights. They're really just this simple plastic piece that, in my opinion, is actually pretty ugly on the car, especially when it's on that nice black diffuser. Now, these are obviously going to install. You're going to run the wire through the bumper, and it's going to tie in with the rear side markers. So anytime your side markers are lit, these are also going to be lit as well. They are given that nice smoked finish, so they blend quite nicely with the rear of your car. And lastly, for the exterior of the car, we also have their LED side markers. Now, these come in a set of 4 to replace each of the individual side markers that's on each of the corners of the car. They come in either a clear, smoked, or red finish depending on the style you're looking for on the car. As you can see here, we have their smoked finish to match the taillights. And just like everything else we've talked about here with Form Lighting, these are going to be a simple plug-and-play install that's going to replace the OEM side marker. Now, not only do these look a ton better than the stock ones, they're going to perform better thanks to Form's LED light strips that they have craftily installed in every one of these side markers. Now, we're moving on to the interior, where we're going to be installing Diode Dynamics Multicolor Dome Light. Now, just like the rest, this is going to be a direct replacement for the OEM Dome Light circuit board. Now, this circuit board's not only going to give you that nice bright white light that a lot of people are looking for in their interiors, it's also going to give you the ability to customize it up to 29 different color lights, including 4 different versions of white, depending on the exact look you're going for. All of which is completely customizable using the stock dome light buttons, so there is no need to install any additional controllers or additional harnesses when you're installing this piece. Just simply install it using the supplied tools here from Diode Dynamics, and you're good to customize away. Now, while to some of you the circuit board may seem a little intimidating, not to worry, this may actually be the easiest part of everything that we're going to be installing here today, and shouldn't take you more than about 10-15 minutes to get it installed on your car, depending on your skills. Now, all the form lighting pieces that you see out here on the table come with a 2-year manufacturer's warranty. They are all SAE and DOT compliant, and come with those plug-and-play harnesses for a no mess, no hassle installation that requires no permanent modifications to the vehicle whatsoever. All of the pieces here are made from high quality materials and are given a really nice finish to give your car that custom aftermarket look. The Diode Dynamics Multicolor Dome Light comes with a 3-year manufacturer's warranty, as well as the tools needed to remove the trim panel that houses the factory dome and map light. It's also a plug-and-play piece that requires no additional modules or harnesses in order to make it work on the car, and requires no permanent modification to the vehicle's interior. So now that I've shown you all of the various pieces here that we're going to be installing from Form Lighting and Diode Dynamics onto one of our S650 Mustangs, let's go ahead, bring everything outside, and get going on the install. Alright, so now that we're outside, you can clearly see we're going to be working on our 2024 Dark Horse here. We're going to be starting out here on the back of the car, and the install for all of the components here should be pretty much the same, regardless of whether you have a Dark Horse, a GT, or an EcoBoost trim. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head on over to the back of the car and get started with the taillights. Now all you have to do is pull this push pin out and pull back the liner. That'll expose the 3 10mm nuts that hold the taillights in place, as well as the harness that attaches to the vehicle. Now on the passenger side, if you have it equipped, you may have to remove the subwoofer, which requires undoing the 3 12mm bolts and just simply sliding it out of the way. Now, depending on your trim level of Mustang, you might have this bracket and assembly here, which is going to block your access to the harness for the driver's side taillight. However, this comes out here with a nut here, a bolt here, and then another nut on the bottom of it there. Once you get those all loosened up, all you have to do is push that out of the way. And it gives you access here to the harness for the driver's side taillight, which, as you can see, I've already removed. Now, unlike the S550 cars, the S650s do require you to remove the rear bumper in order to get the taillight assemblies out of the car. However, that does come in beneficial for us because we're going to be messing around with a couple other things on the bumper, like the reflectors and the side markers. So with the removal of that bumper, it makes it a lot easier to get to those pieces, and we won't have to crawl under the car, struggling in a tight space to get to those pieces. So let's go ahead and get to the removal of the bumper. Now, the removal of the rear bumper starts off down here where you have 2 7mm bolts that basically screw into the fender liner here. You have a push pin down here that also holds the fender liner in place, and then you have a 7mm bolt that essentially clips the clip of the bumper here onto this fender. Now, all we have to do is basically just start removing the 7mm bolts, and of course, once everything is removed, just slowly start to pull back on this bumper here, and it should detach from each of these clips all the way up the fender. Underneath the rear of the bumper here, we have a few other 7mm that we have to unscrew here from the bumper assembly to get it off of the car. Come on now, Betsy. Hit. Pull away from the back. Now with the bumper off, we should be able to get to the last 3 bolts. Now all we have to do is repeat the process here to install the new form taillights. For the moment, we're actually going to leave the taillights disconnected from the vehicle's harness because we're going to be using the harness from the 4th brake light / reverse light that we're going to be installing here shortly. Now when you're putting the trim back together, you want to make sure that you keep these harnesses here outside because it's what's going to allow you to customize the settings on the taillight and the 4th brake light here, basically giving you the option to strobe or not to strobe, and with these here it's basically going to allow you to choose an amber or a red turn signal. Now for the front form side markers, you shouldn't have to remove the front wheel also. It kind of depends on if you have an aftermarket wheel on there. However, we have an aftermarket wheel. We just basically have it turned in as far as it'll go here. So let's go ahead and start pulling these push pins, and hopefully we can get this fender liner here enough out of the way to get to the side marker right here. As you can see here on a stock one here, you have the harness, which you just pinch the connector on, pull it off, and then on the top here you have those two tabs. All you have to do, these are on the inside of the fender, you just give them a good pinch there so that they close, and you can basically just push this piece or pull it out of the fender once those tabs are pushed in. With the fender liner peeled back a little bit is unplug the harness, pinching the two tabs back there, pop out. And there you go, there's your OEM one out. Let's go ahead and stick the form one in and plug it in. All right, harness is installed. Now that all the form lighting is done on the outside, we can go ahead and move into the Diode Dynamics Multicolor dome light for the interior. Now, first thing we're going to do is using the pry tools given with the kit, we're going to go ahead and pry on these 4 spots here on the dome light assembly, which is going to bring this whole piece down. Now, you want to make sure that it doesn't drop completely out because there are still some wires attached to it that you will need to detach before we can get the whole assembly out. And now there's a wire here. Harness, it simply just unclips. And then you have one right here and one right here. Super easy, just push, pull out. Now all we have to do is replace this circuit board here with the Diode Dynamics circuit board. There's really only one way this will fit in, just make sure that everything is in the correct place. But it pretty much all just falls right into place. Now to replace the plastic here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and plug in everything that we unplugged. 3 harnesses up here. This one you kind of have to raise it a little bit to plug it in. Just pop it back up into place. Should just click back in, like so. Now with all the doors on the vehicle closed, all you have to do to set whatever light settings you want is basically hit this 5 times. Now, once you hit this 5 times here, it's going to bring up all the possible colors that you can flick through back and forth with either side of the map lights. We're gonna go ahead and go with blue because it's a lethal car, the car's blue itself. I think that's gonna look pretty good with the car, especially at nighttime. There we go, we got some nice blue lights there. It's hard to tell from where we're currently at because it is daytime out, but it is very, very blue. And that's pretty much going to cover it, guys. That was all of the form lighting and Diode Dynamics lighting products for the S650 Mustang that they currently offer, including Form Lighting's brand new LED taillights that they just came out with today. Now, if you guys have any questions or you want to check all the stuff out for yourself, feel free to click the links in our description, drop a comment below, or reach out to us at 561-753-8105 or by email at support@lethalperformance.com. This has been Joe with Lethal Performance, and I'm out of here. To directly replace Now to perfect, there's really nothing going on black there. These look much better than the stock side mark.